Hi, this video is to synthesize the three readings on the stream of consciousness technique that we had recently. First, I want to say typically the stream of consciousness technique is used to illustrate a character's thoughts, those thoughts closest to the unconscious and or those most intimate, kind of offering a flowing impression of the whole consciousness, or as Bowling points out in that longer, more academic piece, a direct quotation of the mind. So that's kind of our core definition that we're working with, is stream of consciousness illustrating a character's thoughts, particularly those thoughts closest to the unconscious. This technique is often characterized by the leaps that a character will take, kind of unconventional punctuation choices or no punctuation at all, a vacillation or back and forth kind of travel between the inner realities and the outer realities confronting the character. So Bowling kind of does an interesting thing, and I think it's worth reading because he kind of tries to talk about what stream of consciousness is not, as far as, but in doing so, he offers us kind of some interesting aspects of stream of consciousness writing. For the purposes of this class, I'm going to kind of give a breakdown of kind of three terms that are under the umbrella of stream of consciousness. So interior monologue, sensory impressions, and internal analysis. And I'm going to explain each one of those because I think by kind of breaking it up a little bit, we'll have a better, it'll help our understanding of it and perhaps help us use it more effectively in our writing. So interior monologue, both the Bowling piece and the Wikipedia entry kind of suggest interior monologue is a little bit more structured in its approach of the kind of stream of consciousness technique. It is perhaps, it has a better technical flow to it, maybe less prone to kind of tangents, but it still maintains it still maintains an intimate connection to the character. I would say of the readings that we're looking at, On the Road leans more towards this. Because I think his is a little bit more structured than the other two readings that we're going to be examining. Sensory impressions. You might call these the rolling descriptions of what's happening around the character and perhaps the effects of these happenings on the internal space of the character, or the associations the character is attaching to these sensory happenings. This is probably what I would say an excerpt from Marcel Proust's Swann's Way that we're going to be looking at soon is closest to, and you'll see what I mean. There's a sensory point, this petite Madeleine that that opens up kind of worlds for this particular character. And then finally, internal analysis. You could say this is using it's an intervention by the author, but it's still using that stream of consciousness approach in its abstract descriptions, and it's aimed to perhaps cradle the narrative and or the character in that same sort of unconscious closeness and intimacy, and perhaps using the same sort of leaps and thoughts and unconventional punctuation use. This one, I'd say the Wolf piece, Time Passes, lean towards because the most. Because although it is not of one of the characters' mind, it still inhabits a lot of those stream of consciousness techniques. So finally, briefly, the reason I put in the Wolf piece especially, I wanted to clarify that in these last couple seconds here, is because I think it's a good technique for if you have a problem of like a temporal problem, of a time issue, or perhaps a descriptive issue that you really want to add a sort of flowy abstract sense to. The stream of consciousness technique can be very effective with that, and I think because this piece has such a key purpose in that aspect, it really illustrates that well. And then I do want to point the Ulysses excerpt in both the Wikipedia and Bowling pieces are really great examples of kind of inhabiting all three of the kind of aspects: the interior monologue, the sensory impressions, and perhaps I would argue the internal analysis. The stream of consciousness in general is well illustrated by particularly kind of the Molly Bloom type, the Molly Bloom excerpt. So that's the end of this video.